Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, this video is going to be based upon this video, which I've been watching a couple videos from this guy, Michael Cohen. And this video is entitled Urgent Major Bank on Verge of Collapse, and they demand you bail them out. Okay, and we're going to see a lot of this coming in the very, very near future. One of the people that were at the WEF meeting, they mentioned that the year 2023 will be the year from hell. And we've heard that multiple times. One of their predictions, systems, which is nothing more than witchcraft, predicted that 2023 would be the year from hell. That's not a coincidence. Okay, that's not a coincidence. Okay, and don't be surprised if the elder apostle Tahar names it the year from hell. You understand? Because Jacob's trouble is right at the verge. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, is getting ready to come in full speed. Full throttle. The Lord is turning this thing up. And while he turns up the left hand, he's going to also turn up the right hand. So this is why we got to be more focused. And the Lord is going to show us things in the spirit to build up our faith. Okay. Now, I want to look up the definition of zombie corporations, because a lot of these banks, if not most of these banks or all of these banks, are zombie corporations at this point. And a lot of these companies, most of these companies, they're zombie companies. All right. So the term zombie company in political economy, a zombie company is a company that needs bailouts in order to operate, or an indebted company that is able to repay the interest on. Salakia, let's click on this. That is able to repay the interest on its debts, but not repay the principal. Okay, it's like if you have a credit card and you have a high amount that you have to pay, but you're only able to pay the interest on that credit card. You're just going to continue to accumulate debt. Okay, and Second Ezra tells you about the accumulation of debt. Let's get that. Second Ezra, Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. This is Habakkuk 2. Verse 6, it says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his?" Speaking about Esau. "How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." Okay, and he does a lot of that through his banks, because his banks are, they take your cash and they do whatever they want with your cash. And when it comes time for them to lend out money, because they're known as the lenders, right? They're lending you numbers in a computer. They're not lending you actual physical assets that are worth anything. They're lending you the numbers on the paper. But them themselves, they only hold about 10% of what they're lending to the people, or what they say they have. Okay? You understand? But they're increasing in they're getting money off of the interest of money that they don't even have. That's a major hustle right there. Okay, if you could lend somebody just numbers on a paper, and you can collect physical payment, physical assets back, that's a major hustle right there. And that's what these devils are doing. That's what these devils are actually doing. Okay, and that's why the scripture says that the labor shall overtake, or the how does it go? Shall overtake the reaper. Let's get the actual quote. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper," right? The one who's working in the field, he's going to overtake the one that's benefiting, which are these, these people that run these corporations and things like that. "And the treader of grapes, him that sows seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt." Okay, and ultimately, Israel is going to overtake these Edomites. That's what it's going into. But also these, the people that are working, right, the lower level people, they're gonna look to be to get at these people who own these corporations, these politicians, so on and so forth. Why? Because they're realizing that they've been scammed, that they've been tricked. All right, this is why these Edomites are getting so mad. They're getting so antsy. They're protesting more. They're coming out. They're bringing out a lot of this information against these elites. All right. The scripture says that in Psalm 64 that he shall make their tongues to fall upon themselves, and we constantly see that. All the hand of the wicked hand. Looking for that particular scripture. It says the hand of the wicked. Right. This is it. This is Job 20 and 22. It says in the fullness of his sufficiency, meaning it in the fullness of their NWO, when they think they're about to establish it fully, okay, he shall be in straits, meaning a place of difficulty. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And that word is a mistranslation. It shouldn't be wicked there. It should be laborer, meaning, the working class person, the middle class people, or what used to be the middle class, because clearly they're destroying the middle class. Okay. And that word for labor is imal. Okay. Which says labor, take, workman, misery, wicked. All right. Because the laborers are the one that are in misery. The laborers are the ones that are having that are having a hard time. Right. The elites, they're not having a hard time. They're living in complete luxury. Like this guy came out in an interview. He used to work for, who now is King Charles. And he said that, he wouldn't do anything. He used to have people put the toothpaste on his toothbrush. You know what I mean? In the morning, everything was set up for him. If he dropped something in the garbage or in a bin or whatever, if he dropped something, he would literally go and call one of the servants to go pick it up. All right. So that's how these elites are living. They're not in misery. Okay. They're not in misery at all. All right. So it's the laborers is dealing with the working class person. All right. Even if you own a little business or whatever, you're still considered like the working class. Okay. It says sufferer, wretched one, laborer, workman, suffer. All right. So they're going to overtake. They're going to their hands are going to be upon them, as the scripture says, meaning they're going to be looking to take them out. That's why these elites are going to have to be in their bunkers, these politicians, if they're out in the open, and they're going to be the easiest ones to catch them, low mayors and things like that. If they're out in the open, man, people are going to be looking for them. All right. And they're not going to be looking to shake their hands, man, and speak about political issues. No, they're going to look for them to do something. All right. This is the times we're coming to. All right. Because even in Europe, they had those wanted posters, and they had Bill Gates. They had these different devils on it. So we see where this thing is heading. you know. So let me play this video, all right, so you can see what's getting ready to happen.
Holy flippity flip flop flapping smokes, everyone. A major bank is on verge of collapse. And guess what? If this bank goes down, all the deposits will be bailed in, aka they will be taken. I've been putting out urgent warnings this month that the banks are in big trouble and we're at the risk of a financial crisis like 2008, but much worse this time because the bubble is much bigger. I've been warning that your money is in danger and it is not safe in the banks anymore. With the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Act, banks, when they go down, when they start to fail, they can legally bail in your deposits and give you worthless shares. While people with currencies around the world crashing like the Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, the British pound, Australian dollar, with the bond market nearly collapsing in the UK, if that wasn't warning enough for you, well, we just got another huge critical warning. So what big banking institution is in trouble? Well, everyone, that's exactly what we're going to go over in today's video. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the news, the facts, and the data. Okay, so first things first, this is something we're going to get into in today's video, everyone. The Fed is breaking things. Here's what has Wall Street on edge as risks rise around the world. So what normally happens when central banks start lifting interest rates and start quantitative tightening, that's when they start selling assets on their balance sheet like bonds and mortgage-backed securities. Normally this exposes weakness in the financial system and exposes the fragility in the financial system. And because the banks have relied so much on cheap debt and a lot of zombie corporations and free money being handed out, as soon as that's taken away, we see how weak these big, huge institutions really are. And what I think is going to happen over the next few months, we're going to see some of these institutions that we thought were too big to fail, literally start to fail, just like what we've seen over the past few months in China with Evergrande. Because look at this, everyone, this is a huge developing story right now.
So that's it, right? And you've seen there was, bank runs in China and things like that, and people weren't allowed to get their money. When you go run on the bank, guess what? The police are gonna step in, because the police are not set up for righteousness. They're set up to help the wicked. Okay, that's what they're set up to do. They're set up to help and affirm the wicked. Okay, you understand? That's why if
Credit Suisse shares,
that's why even if they know, okay, that's your money, they don't care. They got a job to do. All right, whatever their superiors tell them to do, that's what they're gonna do. Because there was people that ran on a few banks in the past, and they would get arrested. Meaning, when it says run on the banks, it means you're going to the bank to get your money out of the bank. No, they got arrested. Okay, and even now, there's certain people trying to take out 5Gs, and they can't take out 5Gs. There's certain people taking out a certain amount every day, and they're saying, now we got to put a limit on how much you can take out per month. Why? Because they don't have a lot of money in the banks. There's something called fractional reserve banking, which these people don't understand that. All right. And they don't have the money that they're supposed to have in there, or that they claim to have in there, which is nothing more than fraud. Okay. The scriptures speak about a false balance. Let's get that. Let's look up false balance. Okay, it says this is Proverbs 11:1. It says a false balance is abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. You see, that's not a just weight. Having this paper money that's not backed by anything physical, that's not a just weight. Okay, that's a false balance right there. Okay, while these elites, they gather up all these actual tangible assets, like land and gold and silver and cattle and things like that. All right, that's why what did the famous villain say? He said, "You will own nothing and you'll be happy." Okay, and you will eat the bugs. That's what he said. Okay, so if that's the case, then these devils want to hoard everything to themselves and give you things that are worthless, like numbers on a computer. All right. It says diverse weights. And the more you listen, it's not smart to just be holding money in the bank. Oh, I'm saving. You're saving what? All right. First of all, the interest is the inflation is at an all-time high. Okay, in the UK it's damn near 10%. What are you saving for? Every time you save, your money gets 10% weaker. And it's gonna jump past 10%. So before you know it, that money you might have had, maybe let's say you had 20K saved up. All right, say you had 20K saved up. Let's just say. By the time, let's say you keep that for 2 years, let's see, in 2 years, that thing could be worth $500. All right? So what's the point of doing that? You see what I'm saying? This is Proverbs 20:23. It says, diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good, right? Because you have people in the ancient world that used to have like particular scales that would that wouldn't be leveled correctly. So you would put something on it and it would say that it's less than what it actually was. Or you would put something on, or they would put something on it and they would say that it was more than it actually was. So that's called a diverse weights. You understand? So this is how these devils operate, with fraud, Anyways, let's get back. Matter of fact, let's read James 5:1. This is James 5 and verse 1. It says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten, right? Your gold and silver is cankered, right? Because gold and silver is not supposed to be cankered, right? And the rust of them shall be a witness against you. And they're not supposed to rust. Why would gold and silver doesn't rust? That's showing you that it's fake, just like this money system. And shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, right? The laborers, the working class, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Okay. So ultimately, the Lord is going to come and judge you devils. All right. So all these things that you're doing, the Lord sees them, and he's getting ready to judge you, And one of the main things, a major thing he's going to judge you for is this false money system, along with countless other things, man. Let's continue with the video.
10% on restructuring and capital concerns.
$50, $100, $200. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, for the amount that you will spend on a t-shirt.
This is huge, everyone, and a week ago I put out a video saying we only have 7 days left, and I said in that video I think during the following week we're going to see a beginning of a Lehman-like moment. And that's exactly what happened with what happened in the UK, with what happened with the pound crashing, with the bond market crashing in the UK, and with the currencies collapsing around the world. And now we just got this news literally 7 days later after I posted that video. The Credit Suisse could be on the verge of going under, especially in the US. Spread of the bank's credit default swaps, CDS, which provide investors with protection against financial risk such as default, rose sharply Friday. They followed reports that the Swiss lender is looking to raise capital, citing a memo from its chief executive. I don't know about you people, but I'm starting to see alarm bells go off. And this is starting to look a lot like 2008 with these credit default swaps, with a lot of these insurance products which were meant to protect these financial institutions from huge amounts of defaults and bankruptcies. Well, again, like we've seen when AIG went down in 2008, the insurer for all these junk mortgages, they went bust. I think we're going to see some of the insurers for these financial institutions today go bust. The stock is down about 60% year to date. I trust that you are not confusing our day-to-day stock price performance with strong capital base and liquidity positions of the bank, the CEO said in a separate staff memo obtained by CNBC. Well, of course, the CEO is going to say, look guys, there's nothing to panic. Even though our stock price has crashed 60%, there's nothing to worry about. Well, people, what you have to do is you have to follow the money. And the money's telling us otherwise. Financial Times said the executive denied reports that the Swiss lender had formally approached its investors about possibly raising more capital, and insisted Credit Suisse was trying to avoid such a move with its share price at record lows and high borrowing costs due to rating downgrades. Wow people, this is huge, and let me put this simply for you. What we've seen over the past 10 years is a lot of companies being able to raise very cheap capital, and what they've been able to do is use this cheap credit to buy back their stock. Because, for example, if they could get credit at 1 or 2% interest rates as a primary dealer from the Federal Reserve, and then use that to buy back their stock and get an average return of 7 to 8%, it makes sense. But with borrowing costs going up very, very high, and especially for these zombie corporations that have their credit downgraded, well, they're not going to be able to get this cheap credit anymore. And someone left this in the comment section in my video yesterday, and I thought this was a great point. And if they try to issue more shares right now when their share price is at record lows, this is going to dilute shares more and more, and it's going to make their stock price fall lower and lower and put them at more and more risk of collapsing.
Right. So if you have your things in, you shouldn't be keeping all your money in the bank, man. That's the bottom line. Okay. You should, keep a certain amount, and then, with the rest, you know what I mean? You put that, elsewhere. Okay. And it's good to get certain things like silver and gold. That's very good if you can, but you see what's getting ready to happen, man. And when it comes to them needing to be bailed out, who do you think is gonna bail them out? The people that have their money in the bank. Okay? That's the ones that's gonna bail them out, man. Your money is gonna belong to them, and they can do that legally. Show you that this place is nothing but is built upon fraud. So these people that think they're gonna be delivered based upon, I got money, I'm living in a high-rise condo, this, that, I got this property, I got that property. When all these things start to collapse, man, those people are not going to be safe. Those people are not going to be safe at all, man. This is Proverbs 11:4. It says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. That's the only thing that's going to deliver you, is the righteousness that you have towards Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You see what I'm saying? That's why faith is important. But faith without works is dead. So you got to have the combination of the two. You got people on the comment boards for months or years that don't do any work. Well, where's your work at? I do my work. I'll be waking people up, brother. I send text messages to people. I've been waking up people through text message, brother. That's not how the Lord commanded you to do the work. You can't just build the way you want to build. There's a particular way to build, man. What if when Yahweh Shai set them out 2 by 2, they said, we're going to do it 1 by 1. Or we're going to go do it. I'm not going to go out and preach in the streets. I'm going to go preach in my house. Put a sign in my house to say, come inside if you want to hear the sermon. Guess what? They wouldn't be doing the work. That's them doing their own thing. And that's what you guys are doing. And you think that you're doing the work. You're not doing the work. You're building with untempered mortar. All right? This is Ezekiel 7 and verse 18. And I'll end it with this. It says, they shall also... Actually, no, I have one more scripture after this. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. Can you imagine if the banks were to fail? This same scenario would be upon these people. There would be baldness. In other words, there would be mourning. Okay, and I would be going outside to see the faces on these people, man. Just like when the the system fell in Canada because of the Rogers with the bank, I was outside looking at people's faces. People were frustrated. Okay, and what were we doing? We were praising Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The Lord had it where, I had cash on me, man. You see what I'm saying? This is Ezekiel 7:19. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. All right. So that's the bottom line, man. Okay. No riches is going to save you. No car, because you drive a Bentley, that's not going to save you. All right. First of all, what good is a Bentley or a Maybach or any of those cars if you can't put gas in it? Because let's say if they crash the grid, right? A lot of people don't think about it. You're not going to be able to pump gas if they crash the grid, because those things run off of electricity. And I found that out when that whole thing happened with when the power went out around my region and the gas station wasn't working. So you have to understand, if the grid, if there's an EMT or anything like that, or whatever the case may be, which that's going to happen eventually, something along those lines is definitely going to happen eventually. You can't pump gas. Okay. You have to remember, these people, these elites are trying to they're trying to create a hellish situation so that these people will beg for the MOTB. All right. This is 2 Ezra 16 and verse 21. And it says, behold, victuals shall be sold good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. This whole system is going to be casted down. All right. And it's going to collapse. And then what are you people going to do? And what are you women going to do? You understand what I'm saying? This is what's getting ready to happen, man. All that pride is about to be crushed. Everything is going to collapse. All right. From the banks to the infrastructure to the, when I say the infrastructure, I'm speaking also about the electrical grid, all these different things, man. These comforts are about to be taken away. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. It's going to be a lot of death, And on top of that, you have World War III to look forward to. So the Lord is setting up some great judgment in these latter days, man. So with that, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. And I'll say shalom until the next video.